Hello, I'm Craig Birnbach, and welcome to this episode of EPS Inspires, a look at the exciting and inspirational happenings in Evergreen Public Schools. First up, they picked a gem of a name. Evergreen Public Schools' new elementary school, it's Emerald Elementary. The school board, they had the final vote, but it was the students who really directed the naming process.
Director Bradford Emerald Elementary and Director Grunwald Emerald Elementary, so 4-1 Emerald.
The school board might have made it official, but really it was the future students of Emerald Elementary who came up with the name for Evergreen Public Schools' newest elementary school.
I'll always feel like, I helped name my elementary school, and that would be something that I would brag about now if I had to do that. So.
And the students have a right to brag, as they had to narrow down a huge pool of names to get to just 3 finalists.
We actually received 48 names.
Students and family members met several times with Principal Darcy Mitchelson to discuss name choices.
I like Rising Star Elementary too because stars are one of my favorite shapes.
In the end, not everyone's favorite made the final list, as the kids, they took to the streets to get input from the entire school community.
So the kids came up with 10 names, and they went back to their communities, mostly their schools and their churches, and asked for input on the list of the 10 names, and then we met again, and they narrowed it down to 3 at that point.
Then last week, the students gathered their research and presented their findings and their 3 finalists to the school board.
The third name is Spirit Rich. This name received 24 votes. Now, Spring this name provides 64 votes. Thank you for taking the time to consider our choices. Do you have any questions?
Last night, the board discussed and debated briefly, but in the end, they chose Emerald because that's the name the students of Emerald Elementary School really wanted.
My favorite was Emerald Elementary. My favorite was Emerald Elementary. My favorite was Emerald Elementary.
I do think the kids coming through and being most excited about Emerald and finding their journey there is going to be really key for them. So I'm really excited about the name.
After going through all of the choices, Emerald was my favorite, so I'm glad that we landed on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you.
Emerald Elementary School will open to students next fall. The school board also announced that 49th Street Academy will be renamed Hollingsworth Academy when the new facility opens in the fall of 2021. Okay, let's have some fun with kindergartners with canes and gray hair. Yep, that's what we got when Fisher's Landing Elementary School celebrated 100 days of school with what's now become a tradition. Everyone's invited to dress up like they're 100 years old, and trust me, these kids are adorable. Do you know how many years it's going to be until you're 100?
No.
Can you guess?
19.
Do you want to have a mustache forever?
Yes.
Yes. Who's the oldest person you know?
Grandma.
How old is she?
I don't know.
Do you think she's 100?
I think she's close to being 100.
What was it like to see your students walk in today?
It was very joyful, and they were all in shock and a little scared. So it was very fun to see their reaction.
Did any of them not recognize you?
A couple of them were nervous when they saw me, like they don't know who I was, yeah.
How old are you?
106.
You're 106? You don't look 106.
I'm not.
Did you like dressing up today?
Yeah.
What was your favorite part?
My mom said I look foxy in these glasses.
Do you know how many years it's going to be until you're 100?
1 billion.
Know anybody that's 100?
Yeah.
Who?
My grandma is mostly 100 because she's almost 100, but she's like 100, but she's not 100 yet. Some grandmas and grandpas have canes to help them walk.
Do you know how many years it is until you're 100?
70?
What fun. And I do want to mention that other schools in the district celebrated the 100th day of school in other fun ways. Now to a new video documentary taking shape at Union High School. It will explore the earliest days of the school. Matt Griffin spoke with the documentary's producer about how a box of memorabilia is helping him share Union's history.
For Union High School senior Glenn Wilson, the beginnings of his video production project started like many ideas, not yet fully formed.
We had asked our teacher if we could go out and record something. He said, what? We said, we don't know. And then I was like, how about a documentary? And then he replied with, documentary about what? And I said, Union. And he's like, what kind, like, what about Union? I said, oh, maybe we could make a documentary about the old Union.
With the idea for his documentary, Glenn was still at a loss for how to proceed until he heard about a treasure trove of information in a Union High School storage room.
We asked the school if they had any records about the old Union, and they're like, oh yeah, here's 2 tubs worth of information. And we were just like, oh, okay. That definitely helps a lot. One of them actually has I think it's this one. Sweater. Yep.
The tubs also contained old yearbooks and photos dating back to the very first years the original Union High School was open. Glenn has also interviewed several Union High School alums, Bob Crosby and Eileen Abernathy, from the class of 1952.
This one is the one Bob's in.
Do you really want to know what high school was for? Sure. Studies. That was down the list. Girls and basketball and track.
I just moved in my 8th grade from Tillamook, Oregon, and I went to a 2-room school that was much smaller. So I thought Union was big, but it really wasn't.
Glenn's documentary will look at how Union has changed from a 4, then 6-room school located on the site of what is now Mill Plain Elementary School to its current campus, spread across more than 45 acres. As for the next steps in his documentary,
I want to get that last interview, and then I'm going to start piecing everything together with it.
for Glenn and the graduates he's interviewed, there will be a sense of pride in having been a Union High School student.
I loved the high school. That was the best time of my life.
Now to some amazing athletes who are playing together and winning together. Mountain View High School's unified basketball team made school history this year when they captured the district championship. This team is what Thunder Family is all about.
Mountain View can pull off the victory here. So they're going to have to go full court on this one. 1.9 left.
And it's stolen.
And that'll be it. That'll be it. Mountain View celebrating. Oh, no. A gold medal. They are happy and thrilled. Look at that celebration. Congratulations to the Mountain View Thunder. They are rolling. On February 8th, Mountain View's unified basketball team won a district championship.
Amazing. It's awesome. It's like, I don't know. It's like, it makes you want to shout, you know?
Stewart will try another three.
Why not?
He gets it to go.
And Richard Stewart had plenty to shout about as he helped lead a fantastic comeback against Skyview to clinch the title, a gold medal, and a trip to Special Olympics Washington's Winter State Games.
Oh, it hit every part of the rim and went back in.
I was like, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, what, us? Like, wow.
Wow, indeed. And the key word is us. The unified model is all about building community, as the teams are made up of athletes with and without intellectual disabilities.
Well, I like playing with the athletes and the partners. We all get along really well, and it just puts a smile on all of our faces when they're excited. when they're happy.
Side.
Beautiful shot again. That is Shani.
Cargelainen.
There we go.
I like how everybody just comes together and I can meet people. It's just really fun.
But really, it's more than just fun, and it's more than just basketball.
I think a lot of times that neurotypical students or students without disabilities assume that, oh, if this person has a disability, they can't do A, B, or C, and obviously it's not true, and we just proved that.
Yeah, it's not just about basketball. It's being part of an inclusive school environment where they're acknowledged by general education students and befriended by them.
It's got to make you feel
yeah, look, I'm crying.
Those tears of joy could be flowing again in March.
Go to state. I'm excited.
And at the state games in Wenatchee, this unified group of students will battle for another gold medal with life lessons they've learned together as a team.
You just have to have faith, you know. Like if you're losing or you're not if you're not doing well, if you think you're not doing well, keep going. Don't give up, you know. It's all about fighting.
And they do with a 3.
That story on the Thunder's unified basketball team is just one of many great social media moments we've had in Evergreen Public Schools over the past month. For some others, let's turn things over to Matt Griffin.
Thanks, Craig. Let's begin this month's look at some social media moments over at Heritage High School, where students kicked off February with a multicultural assembly featuring dances and musical performances from around the world. The Hearthwood Elementary School Hawks learned about the country of Brazil in a special assembly where students learned new dance steps, Portuguese phrases, and the history behind some Brazilian traditions. Next, we head over to Mill Plain Elementary School. Look at that face, where a boa constrictor wrapped itself around a student, and that was just one of the highlights of a visit from an expert on all things that slither and crawl, Reptile Man. Students learned about reptiles in an educational and thrilling hands-on presentation students won't soon forget. Take a look at this. A colorful school-wide art project had the halls of Fircrest Elementary School awash in a sea of hearts. The theme, as you can see there, it's cool to be kind. It's also cool to be kind over at Sifton Elementary School, where students and staff combined Superhero Day with Kindness Week and saw students and staff dressed up as their favorite superheroes. And a special thank you to Zoom Info CEO Henry Schuck, who earlier this month presented a check for $210,000 to benefit Evergreen Public Schools Family and Community Resource Centers. Zoom Info's annual fundraiser to support the Family and Community Resource Center program featured employees collecting clothes and household items. Additionally, they raised $105,000, which was matched by Schuck and his wife, Jessica. Thanks again, Zoom Info. And finally, congratulations to Frontier Middle School's Andrew Lovin, selected as the Evergreen School District Foundation's Educator of the Year. Lovin is a family and consumer science teacher who teaches students essential culinary and consumer skills, and he also coaches football and basketball at Frontier. Lovin received a $500 grant from the foundation, sponsored by Twin Star Credit Union, to spend in his classroom. That's it for this month's Social Media Moments. If you didn't catch those social media addresses, we'll share them with you at the end of the show. Craig, back to you.
Thanks, Matt. Now to a brand new class that's teaching high school students something we can all be better at, learning how to relax. The Relaxation and Stress Management class is helping students at Union, Heritage, Mountain View, and Evergreen High Schools manage stress both in and out of the classroom.
So, deep breathing, all right? Here are some of the benefits of deep breathing.
The short answer to this question is it reduces stress, and that's the goal of the entire curriculum in Evergreen Public Schools' new Relaxation and Stress Management class.
Kids are really dealing with stressful situations in their own lives, whether it be their grades, stressful situations in their home life, lots of different things.
And there are a lot of ways to learn to relax. Yep, Jenga and Uno are tools that students are using for stress release. But despite the actual game playing in class, students are also being taught how managing their lives can help manage their stress.
It wasn't just like, oh, we're just gonna sit there and do nothing. It was more like we actually talked about our stress and what causes it, how are ways to like relieve it.
We look at time management and like scheduling, creating a plan, calendaring, making it so that you're on time for work, because those are all adult life skills.
The original excitement for this course came from Union's Sherry Ridgway with an assist from a neighbor to the south.
The idea actually came from, I have a friend in Oregon that teaches, that created this class and teaches it in Albany, and so she raved about how much she loved teaching it.
This class is offered in all 4 comprehensive high schools, but students aren't just learning in the classroom.
Exercise is a big component of this class because we know that exercise is one of the best stress relievers for the body.
And with that in mind, the classes are co-taught by PE teachers who use walking, stretching, yoga, and traditional sports as stress-relieving activities. Another benefit to this new class is getting teenagers to talk about stress and mental health.
Just being able to be like, yeah, other people are just as stressed as I am, and about college and like scholarships and SAT and all that other fun stuff that I had to do, but just understanding that like everyone's doing it, like makes me not feel not alone.
And while students will get grades and credits at the end of the semester, the ultimate goal here is a longer, healthier, happier life.
Because we know that stress reduces our lifespan, and when we can manage it, we're going to have longer lives.
This class is co-taught by a CTE instructor and a PE teacher. What a great partnership. Speaking of CTE, finally, we'll talk about some career and technical education students at Heritage High School who are about to make history. As Matt Griffin explains, these students are bringing a much-loved Disney classic to the stage for the first time for a very special audience.
These 3rd and 4th year American Sign Language students rehearsing on the stage at Heritage High School are about to make history. They're rehearsing for what is believed to be the first ever American Sign Language production of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Connor Randall, also a theater student at Heritage, says it's different than a traditional production because there are modifications in the staging made specifically for a deaf audience.
I think the biggest, most obvious challenge I've faced is the fact that it has to be in a different language. It's very different from regular theater in that blocking, you typically in theater would like physically move yourself toward the person, but in ASL you have to pretend that you're looking in their direction. It allows for access for the deaf audience to be able to like still see what you're signing.
Performing in another language is difficult enough, but for these actors, there's also the stress of remembering the signs for new words and song lyrics, all while conveying a character to the audience.
It's challenging because I've never done anything like this before. So like having the confidence of being like a main character is very weird, and remembering everything, it's difficult.
Add to that the pressure of knowing that they're staging a first-of-its-kind production.
It's really just overwhelming in a sense. It's kind of just like, this is kind of like a first ever, and having that said, just like if we want to do it, we have to do it right, and we can't like mess up, you know, and if it's not good enough, it's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna be as enjoyable for the, you know, like pointed audience that we have planned for.
ASL teacher Melissa Caton says students came up with the idea themselves when she asked for ideas that aligned with the concept of project-based learning. And while she acknowledges students are feeling the pressure, she's proud of them for wanting to give their deaf audience members a first-in-the-nation theatrical performance.
In their second year of learning, they learn about all the barriers and the struggles and the lack of communication access, direct signed ASL performances rather than going through an interpreter. So by seeing their own passion and their own like, okay, we can do this and we're going to do this and we're doing this, it makes me emotional. It makes me proud of them because everyone knows it has a greater purpose. They're doing all this with their heart.
Thanks, Matt. Melissa Caton, well, she's hoping her students' groundbreaking production will help break down barriers for deaf audiences across the country by inspiring other high school ASL programs to stage their productions. Great work, T-Wills. All right, that's it for this episode of EPS Inspires. Until next time, I'm Craig Bernbach. Thanks for watching. Here's a look at how you can keep up to date with Evergreen Public Schools on social media. Check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/EvergreenPS. Follow us on Twitter at EvergreenPS. Our Instagram account is Evergreen_public_schools. And check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/EvergreenSchools.